We'll call the meeting to order. It is the regular city council meeting for the city of Algonac, Tuesday, March 1st, 2022. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Bendis.
Here.
Councilman Blair.
Here.
Councilman Gillis.
Here.
Councilwoman Harris.
Here.
Councilman Martin.
Here.
Councilman Scarback.
Here.
Mayor Stoneburner.
Here.
Quorum present.
Will everyone please take a moment of silent prayer, and if you would keep Ukraine in your thoughts. And will everyone please stand for the flag?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved. Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have an agenda. Tonight, we have one presentation. It's the Beautification Award, and in a moment, Councilman Blair will be presenting that. McDonald's, our wonderful restaurant here in Algonac, is being honored. We are pleased to recognize the efforts of Dieter Schultz and the Schultz family for their recent renovation of their McDonald's location at 700 Point Trumbull Road in Algonac. Beginning with the first location in Port Huron in 1961, the Schultz family now owns 19 McDonald's locations throughout St. Clair and Macomb counties. Dieter Schultz, owner of the Algonac location, number 11015, is a fourth generation owner-operator. Since 1989, McDonald's has been a staple in our community. Those golden arches that everyone knows and loves also offer a symbol of comfort and home. They have always maintained a clean and welcoming appearance, but the recent modification continues to signify the pride of ownership and continues to contribute to the positive overall appearance that reflects on this community. As we know, the pandemic impacted all restaurants significantly, and we are grateful that our Algonac McDonald's stayed with us. McDonald's has been an essential part of the community, offering many job opportunities for residents as well as scholarship opportunities for students for many years. The renovation brings a renewed sense of security that we hope will continue for many more years to come. The McDonald's Algonac location serves customers 7 days a week and is open from 6 a.m. till 11 p.m. daily. And now, Councilman Blair, will you do the honors?
I would love to. Thank you. Please. Stand if you want, but we're going to come up here. Okay? I get the pleasure of announcing the Beautification Award to the Golden Arches of Algonac, which I'm sure everybody's been here at least once, maybe twice. The Beautification Award, the City of Algonac presents this certificate as a token of our appreciation to McDonald's, number 11015, 700 Point Trumbull Road, for supporting the residents of the City of Algonac for over 30 years and continuing to make improvements to the restaurant that make our city a better place to live. Your time and commitment to the community is highly valued. Your slogan, "I'm loving it," makes us say, "We're loving it." We thank you for investing in Algonac, and we're proud to have you in our city. Signed by our mayor, Terry Stoneburner. You have to say something and get a picture, so you have it for a minute anyway.
Okay,
Both of you.
it's all me, no. McDonald's is a really great place to work. I highly encourage anybody's children that are of age to apply. I've personally myself been with the company for 45 years.
Wow.
I started when I was 2. It helped with school, it helped with college, it helped both of my girls going to college through scholarship awards, which were very much appreciated. And in my opinion, I work for the best family in the world. So.
That's great. Come on back and we'll get you a picture.
Okay.
Everybody up.
Everybody up.
Everybody in?
No,
Yeah, we don't wanna
not yet.
miss anybody.
All right, cheese.
Cheese. Burger.
That was good.
Thank you so
Thank you.
I will say I have known the Schultz family since the 90s, when I taught
When you were
America.
two.
No, when I wasn't two. I was the teacher at Fort Gratiot and at Fort Ewing Northern, and I had their kids in school. And they are very generous and really take care of their employees. So it was a great job, Tori. All right, next, it is public comments. During public comments, you state your name and your address. You'll have 5 minutes to speak, and keep in mind, you'll be speaking to council. And we will not be responding, but we definitely listen. Anyone want to come up and speak to us?
I do. My name is Sarah, and I live at 2020 Washington Street, and I'm here concerning the ordinance 11B. I find it to be quite an overreach of any city or government. This is gonna pretty much subject your citizens of Algonac to inspections that will cost them lots of money during probably already a stressful time, which is selling their home. I don't think this is the right direction that you should go, honestly. I'm quite concerned with things that are taking place currently, and this comes from the state. This is water grant funding and things like this, so I think that you should rethink this approach, okay? Thank you for listening.
Sarah, what is your last name?
Dennis.
Dennis? Thank you. Anyone else? All right.
Elizabeth Demery, 1303 Market Street, and I'd also like to speak to you about the proposed ordinance. I first wanted to say that I agree that, illicit connections shouldn't be allowed, but as was previously stated, I don't think this is the correct way to go about correcting them. As she said, it's going to be costly in inspections for homeowners. Some plumbers charge up to $30 an hour, and you're asking homeowners to get their lines TV'd. That's a very expensive cost. And my bigger concern is that there's already sufficient language in the sewer ordinance. Section 44150 outlines what cannot be discharged into the sanitary sewer. Section 44-159 gives the city authority to access homes in order to conduct inspections and check for these connections. And then section 44-162 sets the fee schedule for the violations. So in my opinion, there's already sufficient language for Algonac to come in and make these, or have residents make these changes. And as stated in the presentation from the city manager that is part of the agenda packet, there was letters sent out in 2020 to homeowners, and I received one of those letters. And it was essentially, stating that if you had any sump pumps, they were gonna come and inspect to make sure you were not discharging into the sanitary. So there should be records sufficient enough already for homes that have these connections, and why was nothing done in 2020 to correct these problems? And then I also think that there would be at least a list of homes that have sump pump systems and gutter drain systems from permits that were pulled from the building department. So again, there should be a list of addresses that corrections should need to be made. And then a different topic that I wanted to discuss was the SAW grant. I see that it was budgeted for and awarded to Algonac, and I just kind of was wondering what the status was, because that TV's Algonac's end of the sanitary and storm sewers. And there's just a couple other things. The 311 tracking system, I'm not sure it's very efficient. I made a report myself on February 17th, and I haven't had any updates. I had reported that our street was flooding, and the storm drain in my neighbor's easement always backs up in that area and floods his yard and the street. So I emailed the DPW and had no response. And then I called the city manager twice on 2 separate occasions and left voicemails, and I never heard anything back. I work in the public sector myself, so I just don't think that's good customer service. I wouldn't let more than 2 days go without contacting somebody back. And then, the last point I wanted to make was that I'm kind of curious as to why the 2021 budget that's posted online is only 5 pages. I kind of feel like there's some stuff not there. I've never seen a city's budget only be 5 pages long, so maybe I'm just missing where it was posted. And that was it, so I just want to thank you for my time, and I hope you take my concerns and somebody can address my questions, so thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, council. My name is Kelly Noland, and I am here respectfully to let you know that I am running for state representative for District 63. And I just wanted to introduce myself to the council so you know my face, and you'll be seeing it around much more. I'm an Army veteran nurse. I currently live in Chesterfield, and this is not my first time around running for any office. So if you have any questions or comments, or would like to get more information about me, please let me know, and I will be happy to give you my card. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, we'll get on with our meeting. Our city manager will be presenting during our meeting when we introduce the amendment, and so that will be her report today. Our consent agenda, we need to have a motion to approve our consent agenda, which consists of the city council meeting minutes from February 15th, 2022. May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have approved our consent agenda. Next, we have no unfinished business, so we'll get right into our new business. And so for our first item is to approve a renewal of the fire department insurance. We received the invoice, that is a renewal for the fire department accident and sickness insurance policy. This policy is designed to provide financial security and benefits for members should they become injured or ill while performing their duties. The benefits include accidental death, dismemberment, permanent physical impairment, medical expense, family expense, physical assault, loss of life, sickness, cosmetic burn, disfigurement, weekly disability, and family education. It also provides permanent physical impairment education and 24-hour accidental death and dismemberment injury only. This policy is effective from February 20th, 2022 until February 20th, 2023. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve renewal of accident and sickness insurance policy for fire department personnel for the period of February 20th, 2022 through February 20th, 2023 with VFIC, care of M&T Bank, whose address is P.O. Box 64904, Baltimore, Maryland, in the amount of $2,235.
Support.
Comments, questions, or concerns?
Well worth the investment.
Absolutely. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Councilman Gillis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Scarback.
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we're introducing an amendment to Chapter 44, Utilities, Article 3, Sewers, by adding Division 4, Inflow and Infiltration Inspection Ordinance. Our city manager has a presentation for us this evening, and she'll do that before we continue on.
Thank you, Mayor Stoneburner. So the presentation is on the inflow and infiltration program to reduce the excess flow of clear water into the sanitary sewer system. So, the concern is that the wastewater treatment plant is experiencing daily flows that surpass normal capacity. For example, the plant has a $2.7 million gallon capacity, and in the last big rain event, 7 million gallons were treated. Obviously, the plant cannot continue to operate at such levels. Algonac, Clay, and Ira Township all need to reduce their flows of water to the plant. The heavy flows can be the result of flooding, heavy rains, and/or inflow and infiltration. While the flooding and rain cannot be controlled, the inflow and infiltration can. So what is inflow and infiltration? It's anything connected to the sanitary sewer system that should not be. This could be damaged or leaking sanitary sewer leads, foundation drains, gutters, roof drains, or sump pumps. It has been said that residential homes can account for up to 80% of excess inflow and infiltration. Why is this a problem? Well, it causes increased operation and maintenance costs. It could cause sanitary sewer backups at the wastewater treatment plant. It could cause sanitary sewer backups into homes and businesses. It could result in the possible discharge of untreated raw sewage into the St. Clair River. It could also cause a limit on future development. Eagle may not allow new homes to connect to the system. So, Algonac has taken some action since 2020. We started with some basin inspections. We've had a press release in 2020. We're doing public education in the city newsletter. Our rental inspections, we check for illegal connections. The SAW grant, that will help us identify where the biggest areas of inflow and infiltration are. We have been replacing our manhole covers as we see needed, and we started our street sweeping program. So we've put together a program. It's a 4-pronged program to address this inflow and infiltration program. First part is a point of sale inspection program. Second is a rental inspection program. 3 is regarding future road projects, and 4 is priority district capital projects. So the point of sale inspection program. This would be required prior to the sale of any residential property. It was proposed to be single-family homes, condos, townhomes, and apartments. The property owner would submit an application to the city. A licensed plumber would televise the sanitary sewer lead to identify leaks, inspect the roof and foundation drains, inspect the sump pump system, and provide a report of the findings to the city. All issues would need to be addressed before a certificate of compliance was issued. The certificate would be good for 10 years. The property could be sold as is if the buyer commits to making the repairs. We do have a quote for the cost to do televising work and the inspections. It's approximately $200. There is a possibility that we could start off with the point of sale program only affecting condos, townhomes, and apartments, and look at adding single-family homes later after the program's underway. The second part of the program would be the rental inspection program. So we already have a vibrant rental inspection program. So this would be required of all rentals during annual inspection. Once again, the licensed plumber would perform the televising of the sanitary sewer leads and the inspection of the drains, the sump pump system, and provide a report of findings to the city. All issues would need to be addressed before a certificate of compliance was issued, and the certificate would be good for 10 years. Third prong of the program would be with regards to future road projects. When we do a road project, we would include televising of the sanitary sewer leads to identify leaks and making repairs as needed. The priority areas would be identified through the SAW grant, and certificates of compliance would be issued to the affected property owners. The fourth prong of the program would be the priority district capital projects. We would begin budgeting for the televising and repair of sanitary sewer leads in priority districts to identify leaks and make repairs as needed. Once again, certificates of compliance would be issued to the affected property owners. So any property owner selling residential property would be affected by the point of sale program. There'd be a nominal application fee. we propose a $20 fee. There'd be the cost to hire the licensed plumber to do the inspections, which is approximately $200. The repairs, it would depend on what kind of repairs would need to be made. If your sewer lead was broken, if it was, full of, tree roots, leaking, it would all depend on what kind of repairs that you needed to have made for that cost. That would be an estimated about 100 homes, each year would be affected. However, if council wanted to push the single-family residential program, to a later date, that would be 100 homes that we would not be doing at this time. The landlords, they would incur the cost to hire the licensed plumber to make repairs every 10 years. That would be about 170 homes a year that we would estimate would be addressed. Non-compliance, there would be a penalty for non-compliance if you fail to fix any problems that were found during your inspection. With that, do you have any questions?
I have, at least one, because I can't remember the second one offhand. What is, is Clay and Ira Township taking any actions regarding this issue, since they also have their water being filtered through our system?
Mrs. Gerstenberg?
Thank you, Mayor Stoneburner. Mayor Pro Tem Bembas, they are all, have been made aware by the county, St. Clair County, that this is a problem that all three of us need to address. However, Algonac is at the forefront of this problem, and we are trying to address it so that we do not have such a problem in our community.
Anyone else?
And I realize we're still talking, but would it save our residents whether we, go with the full thing or make adjustments to what we wanna do? If we were to get a plumber who we use, who might, because of volume, give us a discounted rate to try to save rental properties or whatever some money if we keep using the same plumber, or, in bulk, you know what I'm trying to say? Maybe I'm not saying it good.
Mrs. Gerstenberg?
We would prefer that it wasn't a city contractor, that people had the ability to hire, the plumber of their choice to do the work.
Just trying to find ways that we could be creative and save our citizens some money.
Well, these will happen at different times of the year, so.
I
it's
know,
not like
but
you're
if
gonna
it's
hire
like,
somebody for a
we
week.
know that there's gonna be 20 of these over a year and it's the same plumber, and he says, well, okay, it's normally $200, but I'll take care of it for, I don't know, $175, cause I'm getting the extra business. I don't know. Might be something to look into.
Okay. Anyone
Yeah.
else?
Possibility, we could look into that.
And I like, cause, I've been talking about for years on the roads, wish we had been doing that all along, but anytime we have street repairs, we should probably just take the extra step. Suck up the cost and do it then, so we can be, cause the last thing in the world, and citizens, and the last thing we wanna do is have a spillage into the river or the channel of, untreated water because we were overfull.
Absolutely, we just got a cost to do Robin Street. To do all of the homes on Robin Street, it's gonna be about $4,000, and our Orchard Street is our next project, and then Gulf View is our next project after that. So we're gonna be adding the cameraing to each one of those projects, because it's really important to start addressing this water problem before something happens.
And just in the future, if city manager doesn't mind, I'd like to be updated on the other two communities. I think Clay probably uses more water than we do. I hope that they're,
The usage of the wastewater treatment plant, it's 35% Ira, 35% Clay Township, and 30% Algonac. We do meet quarterly with the county. We have a meeting this Thursday. And also, the three of us will be meeting separately without the county this Thursday also.
And sometimes in the township, some of them aren't hooked to sewers.
I know
So,
some of
yeah,
them aren't hooked to
they have a
sewers.
larger population,
but
but.
This is such an important issue that,
Mm-hmm.
we're only as strong as our weakest link, and we gotta make sure everybody's on board and in the same direction, that's all.
Absolutely, you're right.
Mayor Schoenberg?
Yes,
May I ask Mrs. Gerstenberg a question?
absolutely.
So with future road projects, would we be cameraing each lead to the homes as well on a,
Yes, that's what we intend to do. It would be part of the bid from now on, that we would include the cammering of those leads, so we can identify problems.
would the city then incur the cost of the repairs?
If we can, yes, we do it as part of the road project.
And then on priority districts, that would be referring to the areas that through the SAW grant we identify as the biggest culprits of infiltration?
Yes, so through the SAW grant, we've had meters placed throughout the city, and we've identified, I think it's 6 different districts. Some have problems, some don't, and it's those priority districts that we wanna start with.
So if we were to go through and do the priority districts, we would be fixing that as well?
If it's something that we can fix, yes, then we would be fixing that, and then we'd be, issuing that homeowner, a certificate of compliance that would be good for 10 years.
Okay, so if we go to an area that has extra infiltration, we could fix it and then give them a certificate of compliance without,
Yeah, it's a multi-pronged program to get as much done as we possibly can through the rental inspections, the sale of certain residential properties, as well as including it in our construction projects from now on.
thank you.
And then you'll be reporting back to us on the 2 meetings that are coming up this Thursday with the county and then with the other 2 municipalities?
Sure.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yes.
For the city manager, and that is when we're televising, if there's a failure in the piping, if it's in the person's property, we're not fixing that. If it's in if it's in the right of way, we would be fixing it. But if it's on their property, they become responsible.
Yeah, we would be able to determine through the cammering exactly where the problems are at.
Right, but the citizen would be responsible for what's found on their property.
Yes.
Anyone else? All right, we'll continue on. This ordinance amendment has been proposed to reduce the excess clear water flowing into the sanitary sewer system and overloading the wastewater treatment plant. The wastewater treatment plant has a 2.7 million gallon capacity, as we heard, and that $7 million was a lot, or 7 million gallons was a lot. It cannot continue to operate effectively at that level. For the quarter ending September 30th, 2021, the penalty to us would have been $7,851.75. And for the quarter ending December 31st, 2021, it would have been $17,546.25. Clay and Ira townships were not over capacity for those 2 quarters. We all got to see the ordinance, and it was prepared by the city attorney after discussion with city staff and a review of similar ordinances in other communities. The ordinance establishes 2 programs. One is the point of sale. The I&I inspection required prior to the sale of some property. Property owner would submit an application to the city. The insured contractor would televise the sanitary sewer lead to identify leaks, inspect the roof and foundation drains, inspect the sump pump system, and provide a report of findings to the city. All issues would need to be addressed before a certificate of compliance was issued. The certificate would be good for 10 years. The property could be sold as is if the buyer commits to making those repairs. And then the second program is the rental program. I&I inspection required of all rentals during the annual inspection. The insured contractor would televise the sanitary sewer lead to identify leaks, inspect the roof and foundation drains, inspect the sump pump system, and provide a report of findings to the city. All issues would need to be addressed before a certificate of compliance was issued, and the certificate would also be good for 10 years. May I have a motion, please?
I'm gonna make a motion to introduce an amendment to chapter 44, utilities, article 3, sewers by adding division 4. Sewers, by adding division 4, inflow and infiltration inspection ordinance, excluding point of sale of single-family homesteaded homes.
Second.
Discussion, comments, questions?
Sorry,
No, that's all right, go
I
ahead.
ask all the questions. I think it'd be good if we could, chart supply over current impact, same period last year, to see if our actions are making an improvement. So that, we know, do we have to take this further, or are we good as we are? I don't wanna, the citizens to incur any extra costs, as I'm sure most people, if not everybody on council would agree. But we gotta have some way to measure to see if there's an improvement. Ira and Clay are growing big. We will be too eventually. If this doesn't work, what's our plan for the future with the sewage? We can't make it bigger, can we? There's no place to, so we've really gotta be creative and do what we need to do to make this work. And to me, a good part of that, and I would ask the city manager, if she can, give us totals, are we making progress? Cause I definitely don't want the city to be fined. I know a whole bunch of other things I'd rather spend $17,546 on than give it to the county for this, so. So I think it's a challenge for all of us.
Mayor Stover?
Yes,
The county has the ability to meter exactly, how much we are over our allotted 30%. So as we go through this process, we will be able to see, what our flow is and whether or not it's gone down.
are there areas in the city we would be able to monitor that, so we know what districts are?
We have, I believe it's 6, meters that are set up right now. That's how we've identified our priority areas, is through the SAW grant. The county won't be able to, they'll just have one lump sum, but we'll be operating in districts as we go through this program.
Okay,
Mayor Stolberg?
yes,
Can I ask a question to city manager?
absolutely.
How much are we over for our 30% right now?
I couldn't tell you right now. They do it on a quarterly basis,
Okay,
and then they let us know. So for the past 2 quarters, because they have proposed charging us for the amount that we were over. So as you can see, the first quarter we were over, it would cost us additional, $7,800. The second quarter would cost us $17,000.
yeah, I was just wondering if there was a percent, how much we were over.
They did not give me a percentage.
Okay,
Have we paid penalties and overages before this recorded right here?
No, we have not paid these. This is just, they are proposing that communities that go over start paying. Because they're not fixing the inflow and infiltration. So this is just an example of the kind of expenses that we could incur that if we do not fix our problem.
The only other thing I have to say, and then I'll be quiet for a while, is our businesses also use water, some more than others. Are we gonna be checking their?
At this time, we are not looking at our businesses because 80% of your I&I comes from residential.
Okay.
So that's really where our focus is right now.
Sure.
We may go through a particular section and fix 50% of our problem, right? We just don't know yet.
Right, absolutely. And again, just trying to be creative and throw out ideas.
Yes, thank you.
Mayor Stumper?
Yes,
So as the motion that Councilman Scarbeck has presented, that subtracted the sale of single-family homes, correct?
Yep.
I just wanted,
but homestead, or non-homestead
No.
homes will still be inspected.
okay,
Mayor Stolberg,
Yes,
Mayor Dresser, City Manager. Denise, in regards to the SAW grant, most of these repairs will be encompassed under that SAW grant, is that what I'm to assume?
No.
No.
The SAW grant is, they will be able to camera and identify the main lines, and they'll be cleaning the main lines. But the actual cammering of the laterals is a city expense.
If, for some particular reason, we run out of money for the SAW grant, we have inspections still to be made at that point in time, who would incur that cost?
If we ran out of money from the SAW grant,
Mhm.
we won't run out, we will be doing all of the main inspections with the SAW grant money. But even if we use all the SAW grant money up for that, there will not be money for the lateral inspection.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Councilman Blair,
Yes.
Councilman Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris,
Yes.
Councilman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we're being asked to adopt the updated 2022 poverty exemption policy and guidelines, resolution 2022-002. As you recall, we did approve the guidelines at our January 18th meeting, but upon further review of audit of minimum assessing requirements with the state, some changes were made, and we must now update that. These guidelines are used by the assessor and the Board of Review. This year, the Board of Review is scheduled for March 14th and 15th. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to adopt the 2022 poverty exemption policy and guidelines resolution number 2022-02 and direct the mayor to sign the resolution on behalf of the city.
Second.
Comments, questions, or concerns? Do we need a roll call for that? Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilman Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris,
Yes.
Councilman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Our next item of business, we're being asked to approve a letter supporting St. Clair County grant application for the development of the North Channel County Park. Last year, the city of Algonac approved a resolution for local support for the St. Clair County Parks and Recreation submission of a grant application to the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund to help the county acquire the parcel at 2425 Point Trumbull for the North Channel County Park. We are now being asked to provide a letter of support for the St. Clair County's application to the trust fund regarding the Phase 1 improvements at the park, which include the development of a trailhead, a bike repair station, paved parking lot with ADA spaces, an accessible walkway that connects to a fishing pier, benches, picnic tables, and educational signage. The county must submit the application and supporting documents by March 23rd, 2022. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve a letter supporting St. Clair County grant application to the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund for the development of the North Channel County Park.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? I have a comment. I'm just happy we're moving forward with this. It's gonna benefit all the residents of Algonac in the surrounding area. It is a county park. It won't belong to Clay, it won't belong to Algonac. It is a county park. And, we will get visitors from all over, I'm sure, because I know people use our recreational, resources often. And, this is great to see it moving forward. Anyone else have any comments, questions, or concerns? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Yes.
Councilman Blair,
Yes.
Councilman Gillis.
Yes.
Motion carried.
One thing I failed to add, it's in the letter that I'll sign. Our Phase 2 improvements are to include an accessible paddlecraft launch and play equipment, so that we'll be able to use it. So Phase 2 is gonna be just as great as Phase 1, but glad to see it moving. All right, our last item of business is to fill a vacancy on the Algonac Board of Review. There is currently one vacancy on the Algonac Board of Review, and we have one application, and it was received from Bernie Ferris. The terms for all the Board of Review members are for a period of 2 years. Mr. Ferris's term would expire January 6, 2024. May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Bernard Ferris to the Algonac Board of Review for a two-year term ending January 6, 2024.
Support.
Comments, questions, or concerns?
Does anybody know this Bernie Ferris?
Yeah, no
Here.
way. I've known Bernie for a while. Bernie is a longtime resident of Algonac, who also managed Kroger's, the one in Algonac, and before that others throughout his career. Very business-oriented, minded person, and I'm glad he applied. I think he's gonna do a great job on this board, and I'm glad, Mayor, that you suggested him.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Councilman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Scarpelli,
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas,
Yes.
Councilman Blair,
Yes.
Councilman Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Also, if there's anyone else out there that is interested in serving on a board or a commission, please put your application in. We have, when things come up, Bernie's application was in there and we're putting him to work. But if you desire and there becomes a vacancy, you too may be able to be donating your time to Algonac, and we would love that very much. Next, we're being asked to approve our accounts payable and payroll. May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve accounts payable and payroll in the amount of $783,521.56.
Support. Comments, questions, or concerns?
I'd like to point something out, and that is that part of that 700,000 is a new piece of the fire equipment for $445,000, and you gotta turn over that equipment so we can stay effective, and I appreciate our chief
Absolutely.
keeping an eye on it.
Thank you, Chief. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Councilman Scarpelli,
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas,
Yes.
Councilman Blair,
Yes.
Councilman Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris,
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mrs. Gerstenberg, what's on our next agenda?
Thank you, Mayor Stoneburner. We have adoption of the amendment that was proposed tonight, an item regarding the purchase of road salt, a transmitter for the water tower, pump repair for the water plant, and an agreement for the portable toilets in Riverfront Park.
Spring will come. Thank you. Council comments, Councilman Blair.
Good evening all, thanks for coming out. Congratulations, Bernie, on your appointment. Absolutely, you're gonna be a nice welcome to that group. Second off, on a more solemn note, I'd like to make sure, I'm sure everybody's aware of the conflict that's happening right now in the Ukraine area. I'm sure there's citizens living with us, and I wish for a peaceful resolution on that as soon as possible, because it just won't affect them. I believe it'll affect us as well over here. So let's at least pray for that if we can. And I heard spring around the corner. I truly believe spring's around the corner, but please be careful on the ice. I know there's some people that get a little spring fever if they want and think that it's okay to go out on that thin ice. Just be careful with that if you could. And besides that, everybody have a great night. Thank you.
Councilman Gillis.
I would also like to thank Bernie for your service on the board. This past Wednesday, we had our planning commission chairman's deceased wife's first annual Miss Michelle's Monkey Bus spaghetti dinner to benefit the PTO, and we raised $1,786. And Ed kicked in the extra 14 to make it an even 1,800 that's going to PTO in Michelle's name, so I think that was quite a great success. And
What group did that, Mr. Gillis?
Pearl Beach Lions did it. So it was and I think that's all I have for this evening.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Okay, what a nice way to honor such a nice person with that dinner. Spring is here, and I can tell because I found out today that March 12th at the VFW, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock is corned beef and cabbage. And that tells you spring's here. Councilman Blair's gonna give me his corned beef, and I'll give him my cabbage. Okay. And, Halloween is also getting here. Anybody know I like Halloween? I have duck tickets for sale already. And, you know, last year, we sold about 1,000 duck tickets, probably 800, but I like to exaggerate. But it was enough to hire some magicians, a clown, pirates, get a stage, and a lot of community people involved. But to make that work, we need donations. Every dollar we raise with this raffle pays for entertainment for the kids, and we already have some great, different things planned this year. And this year, McDonald's has already promised me that they're gonna do a game. So it's more than just the small businesses, now the big businesses are getting involved, and anybody out there who wants to be involved, please let me know, even if it's just buying a ticket. And finally, we're getting ready to talk about capital projects for the city, and those are big, major projects that the city wants to do to either our infrastructure, parks, you know, city-owned buildings and all of that. So if you have any ideas or projects that you've been thinking of and want to suggest, because we don't have all the ideas, we have many, but a lot of times we get the suggestions from you out there, please get a hold of me or anybody on council or even the city manager and throw some ideas at us. We're all willing to hear. We, you know, you can always get us by our emails. We all have emails, or if not, stop in City Hall. I think that's enough.
All right,
Okay.
Councilman Martin.
Yes, I'd like to thank Mr. Ferris for volunteering for the board, and I want to say that I appreciate anybody on all our boards who volunteers their time to help the citizens. And times have been tough for businesses, and I appreciate the fact that the Schultz family is continuing their support of our community. It hasn't been easy, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilwoman Pierce.
I just wanna thank everyone for coming. Congratulations to Bernie Ferris and also to McDonald's, and pray for a quick resolution in Ukraine. Thank you.
Councilman Scarpet.
I just wanna thank Bernie for getting involved, and I also wanna say thank you all for coming, and thank you for speaking your minds. Have a good night.
And I would like to thank Bill Erdman for his many years serving on the board of review. He is retired, truly retired now. And if we could send him a letter of thanks, that would be nice. He's at every event we have. He's always around, and now he's taken time for himself, and that's good. The county park that we're getting, it'll be across from Catch 22 in that area. And this, even though we're talking about phase one, and I know I'm anxious to get it rolling and seeing something, this has been going on for, what is it, 8 years, 9 years now? Our former commissioner, Bill Graytop, spearheaded this, and through his determination, we have it there, and thank goodness, the commissioners today that have been elected are continuing on with that. I know it's going to be a shining star in our area, and I'm looking forward to that. And also, when we order road salt in March, and then get our porta potties in line, we know the weather's going to get nice. Porta potties and road salt. That's spring. And with that, also, please, I know everything's melting now, but there's things that they freeze at night. So salt, or speaking of road salt your sidewalks or whatever, so we don't have any slip and falls, because that's dangerous this time of year when you think it's all melted and there's ice underneath, so. And with that, Councilman Blair, you got something for us?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
That's the only motion